I'm really serious. I think that's a good idea.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about?
It's about nothing.
No story?
No, forget the story.
You gotta have a story.
Who says you gotta have a story?
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Instead, only try to realise the truth. There is no spoon.
There is no spoon.
I'll tell you what it's worth. Not a damn thing. It's a waste of time.
Welcome to Frivolous Fandom with Mike and Kev. I'm Mike.
And I'm Kev.
Let's get into some nerd stuff.
Let's do it. So, something that I've sort of been realizing lately when I watch movies is subtle things that probably took a lot of time that are so integrated into the thing, like look so fluid that you never think about it.
Movie magic.
Movie magic. And so the thing that everybody always says now is like, it's just computers. But the thing is, computers have really only been popular for, past 15, 20 years? But there's, great special effects dating back in movies,
There's a long history.
A long history of special effects in movies. Particularly, makeup and prosthetics and all these different kind of things that you just sort of take for granted. And even today, the best movies, some people would say, integrate the real effects with the special effects from the computers, like the digital effects.
Well, and granted, as far as CGI has come, there's a difference. Mm-hmm. You can tell.
Definitely.
You can, there's, one of the things I love about some of the Predator series is that, aside from plot issues and the later ones, you're dealing with a tangible person.
Besides the first one, let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, you're dealing with a tangible person at the very least.
Right. It was like a dude in the suit with just probably a bunch of masks on. And even, Tron, they had a fully digital young Jeff Bridges. And it looked good. Granted, that movie is a couple years old now, so with the technology moves so fast, people are like, we could do better now. But, it still didn't look as good as, if they had possibly. Although, you can make people older with makeup. I don't know if you can necessarily make them that much younger with makeup. But anyway, so I don't know how to answer these questions. I don't know any of the processes. So today, we actually brought in a subject matter expert. An expert in the real sense of the term, and a professional in the real sense of the term. So we're going to introduce our guest for this week. Her name is Miss Autumn Lewis.
Hello.
That delicate little mouse you just heard was Autumn Lewis. And so, Autumn, tell them a little bit about you, what you're into, and your career that is starting to blossom, and what all you're about.
Well, I'm an effects artist here in Arizona. And my company's name is Autumn SFX.
Sweet FX? Is that
Sweet FX.
Is that with the S and Autumn SFX?
No, it's just special effects. It's kind of boring.
That's just the acronym for it, right?
Yeah, it's just an acronym.
Well, you need it should be Autumn SSFX.
Sweet special effects.
Yes, you know it.
Totally.
So you are Autumn SFX. So what do you do out of that?
With my company, people hire me. I make prosthetics and practical effects for film, television, photo shoots, commercials, pretty much the whole 9 yards in the entertainment industry. I do a lot of haunted house stuff in October.
I would say they even bring you on for you've done typical beautification type stuff.
Yeah. I do beauty makeup for people also, right. But my specialty is
the other
effects work. It's making people look pretty nasty.
That's kind
old.
of, I would say, your forte, so to speak.
Yeah,
just
I'd
because,
say it's my strong point.
You'll explain this, but in my unexpert opinion, it definitely seems a lot more intensive to turn someone into the Predator than to simply find a facial tone that matches the put on somebody's face.
There's a whole
There's a whole lot of ugly people that it's kind of hard to make look good. You know what I'm saying?
There's a whole science to the process of all different types of makeup. You have to think about the pH balance in people. So sometimes you think you've got the right skin tone and you put it on and then they look like an Oompa Loompa 5 minutes later. It makes no sense.
Let alone allergies. I'm sure that's
allergies is a huge one, and that's something that you have to pay a lot of attention to in the effects field.
Then I have to ask before we go any further, what is the worst inadvertent allergy panic that you've had on set?
Oh, no.
Have you had one, or have you seen one?
I fortunately have not had anyone have an allergic reaction, but I'm super clear about all of the ingredients in my products that I use.
So you're like, since you actually are smart, you probably ask them, like,
are
you allergic to this?
Yeah, I ask, most people aren't allergic to silicone, but like with my luck, I'd get like the one person that is. So I'm always like, are you allergic to silicone, latex, anything that would be in any adhesives?
Do you ever get those people like, I don't know, it's my first movie?
Well, no,
yeah.
Well, you really have to like make sure, because I mean, we have to do the same thing for EMT stuff, right? When we do our initial assessment, you have to make sure. Mm-hmm. Are you positive? Nothing else.
Yeah, I always ask, and then if they're not sure, I'll take like a little splotch of latex or, you know, whatever product
put it
that
on
I'm using,
the real sensitive
and
areas,
I'll
like
put
the
it on their
crevices of
wrists.
their fingers.
Well, for latex sensitivity, you'll see it.
You'll see it right
quickly.
away. They'll start turning rashy and
red.
So, okay, so you just put a little spot on it.
I usually do the inside of the wrist, like inside forearm. It's where the skin is the thinnest and the most sensitive. Right. So
and as such, it has a high turnover rate.
Yeah, and then if they do have a reaction, it's not in their face. It's not, you know, somewhere where they
all of a sudden you realize
breathing.
how much you move your nose once you have a rash. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, man, I sure scrunch a lot.
I've heard
I smell a lot of bad things that just make my face shrivel.
I've heard some horror stories though of people that have just not asked and put latex masks on people's latex allergies.
Oh goodness, once it's full on, man.
Oh, and that's the worst thing that you can have happen as a makeup artist, is to give someone an allergic reaction.
Well, possibly disfiguring, depending on the severity of...
Dude, I'm sorry, but when you say just, like, allergic reaction, and I'm picturing somebody that doesn't know putting a full mask on, I just picture, like, the symbiote, like, climbing on their face, and they're just, like...
Just like a face hugger?
Yeah, like the face hugger, and they're just, like, you know, having a seizure on the ground trying to get this thing off, and everyone's just like, what do we do? They're allergic, it's too late. Mm-hmm. So, okay, then tell us a little bit then about the work that you've done. Let's just say in film then. Let's talk about some of the short film work you've done, because I've seen some of it and there's some pretty intensive, time-consuming.
I'm going to do a little plug for some of my friends in here right now. But I did my biggest project that I've worked on so far. It's like my baby, is Helsing, that I did over the summer. We filmed May and June and July. It was a long process, and that's with Art of War Pictures. Ryan Johnston is the director. He's fantastic, super talented.
Going places.
Will Hirsch was the writer, and I got to work with some local actors here: Patrick Morrison, Anthony Napadano Jr., Jing Song, Desiree Srinivas. They were the cast. Mm-hmm. And it was just this huge production for such a short film. I mean, it's about, I think it's 25 minutes.
Right.
But
well,
it
was
was
to
so
preface
intensive.
for the people, it's like, it's a vampire movie.
Yeah, it's about
so, I mean,
Van
you got
Helsing.
Fangs, you got fake blood,
Mm-hmm.
you got, was it hard to make everyone pasty? Does it take some time to paste everybody up?
I mean, the makeup in it was so intensive. I was also the wardrobe designer for it. So
wow.
I was in charge of a lot.
Wardrobes. I didn't realize we could tap into that. I feel like wardrobes that's another
it's a whole nother field, wardrobe. So I did the wardrobe and the makeup for this film, and it was so incredibly intensive. I had Jing Song in the chair for like 2.5 hours in makeup. She was one of the vampires and antagonists
she had
in
some
the film.
funky stuff going on with her
Yeah,
thing.
she's got these burns on the side of her face, and I mean, she got really messed up. And
Did you ever have like a case? Sorry, Mike, to cut you off. I was gonna say, did you ever have a case though where you took 3 hours of somebody in the chair, and then like a rainstorm blew through, and like, all right, guys, we gotta wrap it up for today. You're like, no, you're like, you gotta sleep in that.
I feel like that's something that has happened to me, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. I feel like it's something like, that's something so traumatic, it just like blocked it out of my memory altogether.
We don't think about that.
Right,
we don't talk
can't
about
dwell
that.
on those instances.
But Helsing's my baby, and you can see that at some festivals that are playing. It just played at Film
Is it
Bar.
online anywhere yet?
It's
Probably
not
since it's
online
still on
yet.
the
I
film
think they're
circuit.
they're still circuiting it around. So I'll make sure to let you know when the next time that's shown. They just played at Film Bar just a couple weeks ago. What's another one I worked on? I gotta think.
Well, I guess I had one question about the vampire pale skin stuff. So dead tissue looks a lot different than just somebody who hasn't been in the sun.
Yeah.
So what kind of coloration do you what kind of pigment do you add to make it that kind of like translucent?
Where if the horrible chance of vampires in the sun, you would see it peering right through them.
Yeah,
they're literally
because it's
clear.
they're just translucent.
Yeah.
Their skin is like
the pigment making cells underneath your skin are not alive.
Yeah, they're not there anymore.
Because white is a pigment. Well, really, we're not white. Right?
Technically, white is a pigment. Yeah. And
It's
it
some
really
kind
like
of cream. We're not really pure
Well,
white.
we just have a small little bitty of melanin, whereas, like, say, a black person or a Mexican has a lot more,
Right.
in varying degrees.
Yeah,
Time for those melanin injections.
I guess like it kind of depends on what the director and the wants the vampires to look like too. So that all varies. But
To
I
his
think
credit, they weren't nearly
used,
as pretty as Twilight, the mainstream vampire.
I didn't see any
think
sparkling for that. I was happy.
for Helsing, I used Van Nuys cream paints for them on their body, and then I took his translucent powder and I added that to it. If you don't blend it into the skin,
So
it adds like a nice pale texture.
So you were like brushing it on? Were you dabbing it?
I would brush it on and then smooth it out with a sponge.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Did you ever since you were the wardrobe designer, after a while, were you just having everyone wearing turtlenecks and long sleeves? You're like, I'm painting your hands and your face.
I
We're
think
done.
I wish that would have been an option for me.
Like, why is everyone nude in this whole movie?
We're the turtleneck vampire.
So much surface area to make pasty.
I don't think that's necessarily would work in the time period that we filmed in. The turtlenecks existed then.
This is why I'm not on movies. I'd be like sacrificing integrity because I'm lazy. Wait, this will take me 10 extra minutes.
Cutting some corners here. And
Yeah,
there.
okay. Does Legolas really need pointy ears? I don't think so.
Right.
It gets tough.
Just let him have Orlando Bloom have a buzz cut. We don't have time to put his wig on today.
There's a lot of pressure.
Gimli can be 7 feet tall for this one. We don't have time to edit out his legs.
There's a lot of pressure that comes into being a makeup artist.
You guys are on
You're
a time
on
clock,
a time
aren't you?
clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like a pressure for the actors who have to be in chair for hours and hours and hours at a time. I mean, I read something about Rebecca Romijn when she was in the chair for X-Men getting ready to be Mystique, and it was like 9 hours of makeup. And she said something like, the first 2 hours you're real friendly, like having a good time, it's fun. And you hit hour 5 and you no longer want to be around these people anymore.
You probably feel like Garth a little bit from Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Like, it's sucking my will to live.
Just sort of, it gets rough. And then having to remove the makeup after. I just worked on a short in Flagstaff, and we
talk about that one because we can't talk about it.
No.
Can we talk about who's in it?
No.
Lips.
That was a very
Zip the
succinct
lips, throw away the
head
key till I want to talk again, then I'm going to have to
Just-
go find that key.
We don't talk about that one.
Okay.
But I was talking to the actor in it, Coy Gendrew. I think I'm saying his name right. I really hope I do. And he was in Star Trek Into the Darkness, and he was like everybody in the beginning sequence. And they had 4 actors that.
Oh, he
and
was
they were in,
the tribal people?
Yeah, and they had to be in. They were in hours of makeup, and
oh my
they
goodness!
were
I
in
thought they looked
full
alike. That's funny.
silicone. Yeah, it's all the same 4 people.
So did they film him once though, or a couple
They
times?
filmed
and just
him
digitally
just
put him all
they
in
filmed
together?
him doing different things and then digitally like
Put 'em all
multiplied him.
That's hilarious.
But they were in hours of makeup and they wore these like full body
those guys were, like,
silicone.
They redefined
suits.
pasty.
Can you imagine like having to like wax your whole body every week? You have to be waxed.
I don't know what it would be like to be an average female. No.
You couldn't have any hair at all on you. You had to be all waxed, and then you just get these like silicone like suits on, and then at the end of the day, it took 5 people to get these suits off of them, and they'd just be like ripping it off of you, and it's just like pulling like.
Yeah, there's times where I look at my thick mat of hair on my legs and just think, man, I'm glad I'm a dude. I would be wearing yoga. I'd be living in yoga pants if I was female, and people would be like, "Man, you're not doing yoga."
Well,
but they don't know it's just my leg
There's
hair.
There's a new alternative to yoga pants I just discovered, which are sweatpant pants.
Is that what their official title is? Sweatpant pants?
I don't know, but I'm wearing them
They're
right now.
not jeggings, are they? They're
No,
like
these are
jeggings?
not jeggings, because those are like jean leggings. Like
leggings.
these are sweatpants.
They're much more
Pants.
comfortable than jeggings could ever.
Yeah,
hope to
totally.
create.
I wish I could wear these every day. But
So-
back on topic.
Let's see. I remember we
Sweatpant
went and saw
pants.
one short film, short film. It was the one where the guy had the option. It's been so long now. Where the guy...
Oh, the deal.
The deal.
The deal.
The option.
The
That's why I don't
option.
name movies.
Yeah.
Do I have the option of not watching that? Click. No,
that was one of my first films. It was the second film I ever worked on.
right.
Which was also with Brian Johnston too. And Hunter Lewis, no relation. And the deal was awesome. It was this story of this man who has to make a really tough decision in his life. Sort of a catch-22 with it.
Right. And that sort of builds the tension. The whole
and
thing.
I'm not sure if that one's going to be released on the internet anytime soon.
Good grief. Tell these people to put them on the interwebs so we can link them.
You know, and it gets rough because, like, when you want to submit them to festivals and you have that on the internet, it's hard because a lot of times, like Sundance, for example, Sundance won't take your film if you've put it on the internet and already released it.
Is that for an exclusivity?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
more
why I'm
they
saying
want
that like I know,
everyone to
but I
go
assume.
there and see that film first.
Right.
And so it's...
I guess it would diminish the cachet of Sundance if somebody's like, I watched this on YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much.
free.
And a lot of festivals are like that. So, like, the second that you put it on YouTube, you're disqualified from, like, entering it.
Right.
So a lot of times films,
so
they take about a
pretentious.
year to get released, which is, I mean, it happens, and I'd rather have my stuff seen in festivals first and hopefully win some stuff.
So for that one, what were you saying, Mike?
Well, it's gonna end up in the public medium eventually.
Yeah, they'll all be out
We
there.
need this
eventually.
circuit, because next year they just go back to the same film.
Well, but
Didn't win, you voted wrong. You need to watch it again.
So my questions for you kind of resolve. How do you go about getting your name out there? Like, what are your dues that you have to pay?
Oh
to
man,
get
you
to the
gotta
point?
pay some rough dues. you gotta do starting out. I did a lot of free work. I still will do free work if it's a project I really believe in.
Is it like portfolio building?
Portfolio building, paying your dues.
I'm sorry, but
working
I gotta
really
say
hard.
this. I thought of this like 20 seconds late, so I have no business interrupting you, but you didn't just pay dues. You paid some doo-doos. Okay, you can go on now. She liked it. Okay, it's cool.
It was worth it. It was worth that.
To totally interrupt all the momentum we had going on.
Paid your doo-doos, people.
Pardon the pun.
That's like when you kind of like get in a little altercation, and then you and the stranger that you're upset with walk away, and you're like, "Oh, I got him!" You look around, he's not there. You're like, dang it, I got the best zinger. Okay, so I'm sorry. So you're paying your dues.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the industry, no matter what it is that you're picking, you've got to pay your dues.
I was saying, it's rough when they're not putting it on the internet.
Surprisingly, the community, no matter how big or small it is, it's incredibly small.
Right.
Everybody knows everybody somehow.
The people that matter,
I get friend requests on Facebook on the daily of people that I have like 45 mutual friends with that I've never met.
Yeah.
I've never even heard their name before, but they've heard of me. My cousin called me a while in December. She called me and she was like, Autumn, I just had some like random people say that they knew you. What are you talking about? She lives in Flagstaff. I don't know really that many people that live in Flagstaff, and no one in the film community in Flagstaff. And she's like, yeah, I was walking around campus and I saw these film students, and I was like, oh yeah, my cousin's a makeup artist and her name is Autumn Lewis, and they were like, oh my god, I love her stuff. Like, I have like, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know who they are.
That's when if you were a far more arrogant person, you'd have said, I'm kind of a big deal.
No, I mean, I don't think I'm a big deal.
Again, more people knowing my name.
But it was cool. It was like this little moment where I was like, people know me. I'm so popular.
I would love to be like where the thrill is gone when random people know you, like celebrities probably get irritated. Like, I would just love, like, do they even appreciate the fact that they can be tired of people knowing who they are?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Totally.
I get why that would grow old, but no, that's really cool though that your work.
It's all.
So
I've based my
those kids were
business
film
off
students?
of word. Yeah, and I've based my business off of word of mouth.
Right.
At this, and then I didn't even like start making a Facebook page until about 6 months into working in film, and then I finally did, and I still don't have a website right now.
But
if anyone out there makes websites,
for free,
give me a call. Yeah, for free. give me a call.
I'll make your website for free, but you're gonna get what you pay for.
No.
But I was just saying, I feel like you're going about the right way because you're just straight up, you're just stacking your resume, right? Like every week I talk to you, you're like, I would hang out, but I'm doing this. I'm like,
I've got quite a bit of stuff under my belt.
You're putting in the grind.
Yeah, I work really hard.
And, eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to tell somebody, you like, want to work for a movie, whatever. And they're like, okay, well, what's some of your work? And you'll be like, oh, well, Hellsing, like, I haven't seen that. And then you'll just go to the next thing, and you'll just have, like, so many notable things to the point where, like, you're like, I'll go till you've seen my work.
I wish. I hope. That's the goal.
I'm sure. I know that will happen.
That's
but
the goal.
I feel like the skill set and the meticulousness, like the nature of your craft, you either really want it and you're going to be good at it, or you just won't be good at it.
That probably does make it tough, though. Probably your competition, everybody is skilled.
Well, that's not true.
Okay.
No, when you have the talent, you stand out, and it's tough competition. There's some amazing FX artists out here. People that I know that were in my class with me that are just now getting into effects work that are just so incredibly talented with it already, just naturally. So it's hard. It's hard to maintain that momentum when you have all these other incredibly talented people.
Have you had any formal training?
No, I've taught myself how to do everything.
Right. Well, yeah, I was saying, judging by what I've seen, that's incredible that you can do what you can do by just doing it. So we definitely we'll put your link in the description. And
awesome.
I encourage everybody that might listen to this, pause it right now and go look, and then come back and you'll appreciate this podcast. I promise. I've
had some help, from people here and there, other FX artists.
Oh yeah.
Chris, his name Chris FX. He's Flinch, I believe, Flinch and Fear Farm. He makes masks, these amazing custom masks. And I was fortunate enough to work with him on a project that I had. He helped me. I did it all, but he kind of like was there to guide me on the path of like sculpting properly and making casting, and taking it to the next level. I mean, I've definitely got a lot to learn
cool.
in
So
that.
you got a professional quality instruction for free.
No, he's wonderful.
Right.
I go look at his stuff too. Make sure to have a link of him.
Okay,
He's
well you gotta
so
link
great.
me and
I'll send you. He's so great, and his masks he makes.
Seems like a
these
lot of the people
latex Halloween masks are fantastic.
It seems like a lot of people in the Phoenix film community are like wanting, like, you know, the reputation I feel like with Hollywood is everyone's real pretentious, real egotistical and stuff. I feel like
that's everywhere.
I guess it's everywhere, but I feel like with the Phoenix community more so, I feel like people want to see other people succeed as much as themselves.
Yeah,
They're willing to like reach out if they see some potential.
It just kind of depends on who you're meeting. I've met some people that maybe need to be reminded.
Giving a reality adjustment.
Just a little reality check. But I mean, you're gonna find that pretty much everywhere. But like, I think a lot of it is because we're so tight knit.
Right.
Well, there seems to be a dichotomy because you want to be successful for yourself, but these things aren't an individual effort.
It takes a village to make a movie, a small village to make a movie.
Right. Small country if you're
yeah, and it's really cool because like you go to these networking events and it's like everybody knows everybody and everybody's looking out for everyone, and I don't know too many people that I have anything negative to say about, and I think everyone in the community. It's they're just really like tight knit. Like everybody knows everyone, like I said, and if you do something wrong, word travels fast here. So the second that you kind of set some alarms off, everybody knows about it. So everyone's very well.
Really easy to burn your bridges.
Yeah, it is. And so everybody's really well self-aware.
But Autumn just keeps getting work, so clearly doing something right.
I was saying you gotta be a cool cucumber.
I mean, there's dry spells where it's really rough, and then you go through periods where you're working so much that you don't even know what day of the week it is, and you can't remember if you double booked yourself, and you sleep maybe an hour. And then there's times where you're not getting any work and you're bored out of your freaking mind. And
I know for you, it's like, for let's say Helsing, you have, like, it's not like you can just put on your makeup and be done. You have to sit there and watch everything, because something's going to get smudged, and then you're like, Autumn, you gotta come fix this.
You're there all day. I had Fabian Carrillo and Chris Hernandez, his nickname is Zombie, and they were my assistants, and they were godsends, wonderful, and incredibly talented.
They were godlike.
And they're incredibly talented. Fabian is a makeup artist also, and he also does wardrobe and production design. And Chris is a makeup artist by hobby, but he's more of a writer and a director. And he's out in LA now. I miss him.
Made the big time.
But they were just lifesavers because having all that work to do with even just that small cast, it was still so hard to have like someone be there because you have to keep an eye on everything at all times. And with those vampire teeth and bane of my freaking existence, I get people spit in my hand like all day long. And
that's funny,
and just like working, you're there. 14 hours.
Just like Harry Tic Tacs when you're like getting real and close, like works to find you.
Yeah, you always have.
Tic Tac, man.
Well, you always have mints in your kit.
See,
for
that's
you
something
and
you never
for
think
everyone
about. I would
else.
never have thought about
everyone
this.
else's benefit.
Recently it was on a shoot and I gave someone chapstick, which is something I always give to people. And
Do you
they
have
looked
any
at
right now,
me.
by chance?
Unfortunately, I don't.
Oh, Mike literally has it right here. Cool, thank you.
And the actor looked at me and they were like, never received chapstick before, and I didn't realize how badly I need it. This is wonderful. And I was like, well, it's your own personal chapstick. There you go.
I'm the guy that always has chapstick till I need it. Like, I'll carry it so unnecessarily for, like, months, and then it falls out of my pocket one day, like, man, good thing I carry chapstick. Psych. So, okay, so that's kind of cool for these people. You know, I don't think Phoenix film community, that probably doesn't grab most people. I don't think understand that there is a film community and it's growing now.
Yeah, it is. It's it's getting there. It's rough because the state doesn't really support the film industry
creative
here.
Endeavors.
Yeah, and so like every year we try to get the what is it called? Oh, it just left my brain. It's the film office, the state film office back, and they just they don't do it. Every year they shoot it down, and no matter what, I mean, we all come out there. We all had a rally, and like there were so much of us there, and we were all showing off our different talents and like showing like how successful this community can be and how successful we can be in Arizona if we were supported by the state and had a tax incentive and had these things and so it's so much harder.
Unfortunately go, we can't fund our schools. That's probably what they say.
Yeah, they're like, well, we can't fund the schools, so why are we going to fund you guys, kind of thing. Right. And it's I'm not going to pretend to know too much about the whole political side of it, but I do know that it's not supported, and it's unfortunate because
Arizona has a decent variety of set location types. We have old city parts, we have new city parts, we have space, and we have cheap.
I know the best part of Arizona, and the best part of why people. Yeah, that is it. That is what makes our state so marketable for the film industry, is that you can drive 2 hours and you're in forest, and then you drive another 2 hours and you're in desert,
right.
And you drive another 2 hours and you're in
completely separate
like
biomes
a field
on the same day,
and like the red rocks, and it's insane. You could be in so many different terrains, which could be so many different locations. And all within, 2 to 3 hours of each other.
That must have been where they filmed Transformers 2, because, it wasn't really in Washington, D.C., because, Shia LaBeouf walked out the back of the Smithsonian and all of a sudden was in the Saharan Desert. So, and this is before that one robot that could teleported them places.
I know they filmed 310 to Yuma here.
Actually, I remember that, too, because, they go, I've been to that museum. There is not, in fact, a giant
desert of broken down ships.
At least I didn't see it, because that's a very heavily, densely building area.
It's like, how can you... Yeah, and that's why I hate it. It's the first Transformers I'll defend, because it was a Joe movie, but then with the second, it's like, Michael Bay literally, you could tell, did not care. Somebody on set goes...
Wait a minute.
Mr. Bay, this doesn't make sense, because they're in D.C., and then they walk out the back.
Shut up, I'm Michael Bay.
And, yeah, right. He's like, whatever, man. They came to watch robots blow up, and that's what we're giving them.
And we have Megan Fox, okay?
And then you're like, why can't we have a coherent story and giant robots fighting? And why does humans go to robot heaven? Okay, I digress. I never understood why he went to robot heaven in that movie. All I hope is that I at least glimpse robot heaven before I go to human heaven. Just to get a little, variety. Variety is the spice of the afterlife. Okay.
I feel like Robot Heaven is going to involve a lot of zeros and ones, and we're just not going to get it. I'll be like, I'm out.
Can I just dabble in lots of different heavens, like the dog heaven?
Okay, butt sniffing and lots of fire hydrants everywhere.
Bro, how do you know that they're going to be butt sniffing?
Because they're dogs.
They're spirits, bro. It's a spiritual plane. Spirits might have a sense of smell.
Oh, hello. Oh, hi! Oh, there's a fire hydrant! And a ball!
I won't offend dog lovers, but that's kind of where all dogs go to heaven, because I know people that are like, dogs go to heaven. Like, what would that look like for a dog? But anyways, let's not go into that. So, Autumn, to get a little bit more frivolous, because this has been just very educational, and this has had very much a point to it.
We've been almost productive.
We've been nearly productive here. That is
something I like to do. I like to come around you guys and then make you all be productive.
Yes.
It's
that's not the mission statement, though, of this podcast.
You're a splinter cell.
It is my
We
the
found
one
the
thing
mole,
in
Mike.
our
One of these things is
Long-
not.
We
another.
invited the mole for tea.
in the years of friendship. Every time I'm around, you guys are ultra productive in something.
That's not.
No, it's not.
I
Most
played-
of our friendship
I played the
has been
best.
us sitting
I
in
played
various
Smash Bros
places.
for like 12 hours straight the other day. I don't know how that could be to
even
be
know,
as
man.
productive.
In fact, you know what? If I had a nickel for every time, I'm like sitting and doing homework. They're like, "Come on, Mike." Like, well, I got homework. Autumn's over, or Justin's over. Like, throw down my pencil. Walk away.
Went back when our Marvel versus Capcom days. I think that was the least productive I'd ever been in my entire life.
Right.
Was just sitting and playing Marvel all freaking day
Okay.
long.
We have got to right this ship. We've got to get back
That's what
on
I'm saying,
course.
dude. That's what I'm saying. We gotta right this ship and get into Super Smash Brothers now, because we had a nice little group of people that were in enough to Marvel to be like, yeah, I'll play in a tournament. Whereas now, like, you know, now, not even myself, I'd be like, Marvel tournament,
That's the thing about our group of friends. We go through phases. Remember the magic
we're very much
phase?
phase people.
Everybody spent so much money on
No,
Magic
I
the
spent less than
Gathering
$100,
cards,
okay.
and then we played it for like 6 months.
Some more than
And
others.
then 6 months goes
and
by.
then we
you
randomly
guys
went back
were-
to HeroClix.
Yeah, then you go back to HeroClix, and
I
then now it's
resisted
like
that one.
Pokemon. Now you're trying to introduce Pokemon back
I'm not trying to
in.
introduce Pokemon. I have all the cards already. That's why I'd be willing to play Pokemon.
That is why you want to play Pokemon.
Yeah, I have like a couple hundred cards in a box.
I
Like,
still like
Okay,
Magic
I think
the
Pokemon
Gathering.
started when I was going through my stuff and went, yo, I still have red version.
yeah, right.
I got
That's
all those
usually
free
how your-
cards
your
from the
Pokemon
dude with the
obsession
dreadlocks
reignites.
at Mana Works.
Oh, dude, dreadlocks? He cut his hair.
He did?
Yeah, so...
Oh.
I'm sorry, Autumn loves men with dreads, by the way.
I
so.
do, if you have dreadlocks.
He's still a
Sick-
sweet guy.
sick
Sweet
fascination
guy.
and
Recommended me a
obsession.
lot of good cards.
He gave me a bunch of free cards that was wonderful. I was like, yes!
Well, he never gave me free cards, but I think we know why. A woman in
There's a giant
in
white
Mana
robot.
Works, that's like... a
Well,
unicorn,
yeah,
you know?
I'm a woman in Mana Works that showers and doesn't have a tail.
And that's like actually knowing how to play the game.
Hey. To each their own, as far as the tail thing goes.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong.
The shower thing's kind of a...
I wish I had a tail.
mandatory thing.
I wish I had a freaking tail. I saw those like cute little clip-on tail things. I was like, I want one of those now.
It's just like,
No,
but then you...
I
but then
I'm
you-
becoming one of them.
I want a tensile tail. I want a Goku tail that can grab stuff.
Right, but then you start thinking about it and you're like, it wouldn't be
Oh.
furry, it'd be all skin, like fleshy.
I
And
want.
you're like, that's kind of
ew.
gross.
I want one of those tails, but I also never want to have to get up again.
I know the audience hasn't ever seen me, but I'm pretty darn hairy. It would not be a fleshy tail. It would be kind of furry.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be like the soft kind of furry. You'd want to.
No, it
maybe
wouldn't.
he's got his
have
beard
you
lube.
have you enjoyed the
He's got
beard?
his beard lube.
I'm feeling it right now.
Okay, I feel I need to preface the term.
You gotta scratch his beard into the
It is a-
microphone so
it
the
is a-
audience can get a
This
taste.
beard is the softest beard I've ever felt.
It's
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
my nonsensical.
You gotta get it on that beard
Nah,
lube.
I tried one time. He's very defensive of his beard lube.
It's such $15, man. Like,
Just go buy some.
He's like Quentin Tarantino
I'll
in
buy you some
in four
beard
rooms.
lube.
He's like, do you know how much this costs? No, you don't.
this is
I'm the
not
one who
shaving
buys
cream.
it.
It's beard lube.
Yeah.
When you're using shaving cream, you call it shaving cream. When you're using beard lube, you call it bleepity bleeping beard lube. I feel like that's
You don't buy it. You don't buy it. I love that part.
Oh, it's beautiful.
This beard lube is flat. No.
I
so-
love dreadlocks and I love beards.
So this is
people.
what I'm talking about. We just got way frivolous for like 3 straight minutes.
About
of-
beards.
About beards and I don't even know what else. So, come on, we're not that unproductive. Let's be productive without being productive. So, you brought a list
Yes.
of some of your favorite special effects in movies and makeup effects and gore effects.
Yes.
Because gore is some of a passion
did.
for you, correct?
I love blood and guts. I do.
Should've been a trauma
Anything
surgeon.
no. No.
False.
False.
Why? You have to be pretty passionate to like Hobo with a Shotgun.
Hobo
not
with
talking
a
about-
Shotgun was a great movie.
I'm not talking about tolerating.
That should have been
Hobo
on my
with a
list.
Shotgun. I'm
Thank
talking
you.
about...
That should have been on Hobo with a Shotgun. Actually, what would have been on the list
Okay,
is Last
any
Circus.
person with any kind of empathy watches the manhole cover portion.
That was foul.
That's why you don't lean back in chairs, fan.
These chairs
How long
are...
have they been telling you that since grade school, man?
I know.
All four on the floor, please.
Any person who watches, like, any person with a shred of empathy watches that manhole scene and just cringes with just...
I did not cringe. Here's the thing. I must be, like, the worst human being on earth because I didn't cringe at all during that movie. Not once did I squint my eye.
Well,
I think at one point I, like, scooted...
You're not a sociopath, you just know it's not real.
I scooted close to the TV and I was like, cool!
Okay, we kind of dipped into sociopath territory a little bit.
Okay, so I'm adding something to the list too.
So here, let's get to this list. Once they hear your list, they'll understand why Over the Top of the World and Hold the Shotgun is like tame.
So, the top of my list is Braindead or Dead Alive. It's one of Peter Jackson's first movies.
Yeah,
what people don't know this about him, a lot of people don't, is that he made all these.
Come on, 6 on the floor, Autumn. I know your feet don't reach the ground.
Autumn just about keeled over twice in her chair, so...
Yeah, Autumn's about 4 feet tall, so 6 on the ground. I'm saying this to belittle you. 6 on the ground.
Fine, okay, it's happening.
They don't reach, it's so cute.
Shh.
Their feet don't reach the ground.
Anyway, okay, back to what we're talking about. Peter Jackson did a lot of really, really just so bad they're great. They're beautiful horror movies.
Was that what he's going for?
I'm not sure.
Like he wasn't trying to make an artistic statement.
It's like not sure if he did that on purpose, but I like.
Well, it's so like bad, so bad it's good is cool if that's what they're going for.
So he did Braindead, or Dead Alive, and it's Braindead in New Zealand, I believe.
Well, I mean, it's Peter Jackson, isn't everything?
Yeah. And, it's from 1992.
Let's see if we can get a forest up on top of this huge glacier peak, please.
Oh, dear God.
It's from 1992, and, like, the opening scene is this, like, excursion in the forest, and they capture this, like, mole rat thing. This hairless, like, monkey thing.
That's your first problem.
And,
are these biologists? Why are they, like...
But they're, like, the tribal people are scared of it, okay,
that's red flag number 2.
Like, the great movie is when, like, the
right?
first
if the tribal
10
people aren't
of the
wearing
movie,
it on their back, then it's probably not to be trifled.
Like, it's great. In the first 10 minutes of a movie, this dude's, like, arm is getting chopped off, and his head gets chopped off, and it's just ridiculous. But, anyways, so, Marjorie Hamlin was the FX supervisor. Since the beginning of his career, he has used all the same people for all of his movies. All the way up into Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So he's had the same makeup artists do the same things for all of his movies. Pretty much. Which is crazy because, look at where, if you've seen Dead Alive or Braindead, and if you haven't, please do, because it's like a riot. It's so much fun. Unless you are faint of heart, then don't, because it's got a lot of blood.
I feel like all of these crews, this whole movie crew, this legendary movie crews,
yeah.
They're been building up and building this legacy up, leading up to the seminal moment of making all these dwarves giant noses and chins. Like, it's all led up to these dwarves
but it's
chins.
beautiful because, like, you look at where they started and, like, how campy Braindead
from the bottom, now with dwarves.
To how beautiful the effects are in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I mean, that's some amazing creature makeup and prosthetic work that they've done. And then you, like, trace their steps back, like, in time throughout these movies, and you're just like, oh, wow. And, like,
makes sense, they're so good.
But at the time in, like, 1992, like, this was, like, so good. This was, like, great effects. So, this, like, most notable scene, is the lawnmower scene in Dead Alive. It's, probably the grossest scene in any movie you'll ever see, ever. Next to Slither. Like, anything in Slither is absolutely disgusting. And great. That's another great movie with great effects in it.
See, all the adjectives you're going to use to express revulsion and disgust, Autumn will use those words, but invert the effect. She's like,
they're just joy.
Meanwhile, I'm just hoping
happiness.
the scour on my face doesn't freeze there. Like, don't stop scouring within the next, like, 2
okay, well, Okay, so you got in your notes. What the hell is the custard scene?
Oh, okay. I'll get to that in a second.
I can infer what happens in the lawnmower scene.
Lawnmower scene's great. It's just this dude with a lawnmower just running people over. Just blood is spraying everywhere, and it's great. And if you want to see something just gross,
Hugh Woody everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's awful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of work that everybody should see. If you haven't seen it, Google it. Just watch the YouTube clip of the lawnmower scene. Let's link them to it. Put a link in there.
You're gonna have to link me before.
I will link you.
Gratuitous linkage is gonna be going on.
There's gonna be loads of linkage here.
No, we can do this because what we've been doing is when we've been giving these lists and stuff, we annotate a time next to each. So it's like, oh, you want to hear about Untitled Live? Give them a time, and then right there we'll just add a link. Like,
neat.
If you want to watch it.
Okay, cool.
So I know about yellow mat of custard dripping from a dead dog's eye, but I don't know.
No, this scene is absolutely disgusting. So nobody ever really thinks about this scene, but this is the scene in the movie that stuck out to me, and I will never, ever, ever forget. Then there's so many. The entire movie is just one long, notable scene. But the custard scene.
Yeah, right. Have you been talking to Chemo? That was his way around it. I was like, dude, bring your favorite Tarantino scenes, and he'd be like, well, if you think about it, it's just one scene in the next. And he's talking about the whole movie. I'm like, dude, I see what you did there.
We'd be like,
it's too late because we already talked about the whole movie, but I see what you did there.
But okay, so the custard scene. This
can't be.
Was there any dead dogs with dripping eyes?
Yeah, there's the
If there is, I'm gonna laugh.
The little mole rat thing. So the mom gets bit by it. This is a precursor to the custard scene, so it's perfect transition. So the mother in the movie, she gets bit by this mole rat thing that's on the loose, this creature.
Right.
And she freaking takes her high heel and just digs it into its head and just smashes it, and it's this little it's so dinky. It's this little tiny rubber thing.
Smashing stuff, and then there's smashing stuff.
And
okay, do you know what I'm talking about?
Shut up.
No, I love it. I'm taking it.
And
Super Smash Brothers.
And then its eyeballs are grapes. That's what they use in the movie with grapes. And their eyeballs just smash out of its eye, and it's all gooing and dripping and smashing this over.
And one high heel managed to pull this off?
Yeah, because it's this dinky little rubber thing. It's the size of a Beanie Baby. It's so little. It's so funny because the actual animatronic thing is so much bigger than what this dinky thing that they're using.
Right.
And so there is a scene where it's just drippage from some eyes. Okay, but so she gets bit by this thing and is it infected? And there's the scene where they have people over for dinner and they're eating and she's acting just completely erratic and weird.
She about to pull a flood, in other words,
and
from Halo. The puff balls.
So then he brings back custard for dessert. And she is eating the custard,
so that's what
and
you give somebody.
I think it's something her ear and part of her cheek slides off of, peels off of her face, and it falls into the custard, and she, picks up a spoonful of custard with it in there, the flesh that fell off her face.
And she eats
it, and there's this whole, close-up scene, and I just picture Peter Jackson being yeah, we gotta totally get a close-up of this, and, it's just, her, and she's...
Just in case anybody missed the ear falling into the food.
Crunching, the noise of it, crunching.
So, at what point do you stop eating?
She's infected, she's a zombie, essentially.
Oh,
with mad rabies or whatever, and her flesh is falling off of her face into this, and she's just eating it.
I thought she had her faculties. I didn't realize.
Quick disclaimer: it is actually pretty scary how close a rabid person behaves to a zombie.
Yeah. So it's like straight up terrifying, like disgusting scene, and that is the scene when I think of Dead Alive or I think of Braindead. My scene goes not to the lawnmower scene, which is the most iconic, but straight to this like nasty custard scene. And for years,
nasty smashing.
So for years, I couldn't remember the name of this movie, and all I could remember is the custard scene, and I would describe it to people, and no one knew what I was talking about. But then the second I remembered the lawnmower scene, the internet couldn't even figure it out. Wow. But then the second I remembered about the lawnmower scene, I was like, yeah, and the scene with the lawnmowers, Dead Alive, like Braindead. I was like, oh yeah, Peter Jackson.
Do they all have skater accents? Yeah.
No, that's just my impression for other people.
It's just, our astonished realization voice. What? Okay.
Shut up.
No, I'm saying I do that too.
And
my impression of random people is always the same. So, whenever I tell a story, I just be like, are you hanging out with the same random people?
It's just like how, like, all white people are named Kevin.
They are, actually. There's like 4 Kevins on my work.
And
so let's move on then to this next movie.
So I've got Evil Dead.
This is a very notable one.
I've got a double, because I put Evil Dead, the original and the remake, which I loved both. I love both. So
Bruce Campbell.
1981 and 2013, like, Sam Raimi directed the 1981, obviously, he wrote and directed, and I read somewhere this fun fact, and I can't remember where I read it, or if it was in an interview with Bruce Campbell, or what, or even if it's true, so I could be lying. But I read somewhere, that they got really high during the scene where they're all smoking pot in the cabin. And they got so high, they couldn't stop laughing, and they actually couldn't film that scene, because it was like, the actors just like smoked pot and couldn't stop laughing. And it was super low budget. Everything they did all kinds of tricks.
Except the pot, apparently they really went out.
They went out of their way to get the quality pot. But they have cheap eye contacts that were made of glass, and like they took 10 minutes to apply, and they could only keep them in for 15 minutes because they would the glass like didn't allow the air to like get to the eyes, and they couldn't breathe.
Wait,
like
so
the
what was
eyes
the turnover
couldn't
rate? Like if you have to give your sclera time to like rejuvenate. So how long do they have to wait?
I don't know, because the thing is like this shoot was like notorious for like torturing the actors a little bit. Like really one of the actresses, she had her eyelashes ripped out from like the removing of the mask because they were so low budget they couldn't use super quality stuff. So they kind of had to use what they could, which is fascinating because of how great everything in that movie is. Like how beautiful the effects are and how like campy and cheesy. But they really did. Cause like something about Raimi is that he like felt like they should, like actors should feel pain and true terror. So he got like this really sick like enjoyment from like causing them like pain. So there was like people were like stabbed and like had stuff like thrown at them. And
wait, isn't there an actors union that prevents shit like this from happening?
SAG. But this is the 80s. Haven't you heard about like Alfred Hitchcock, and like
I've heard
he
of those.
wouldn't let them, like the women on his set, he hated them, and he wouldn't let them sit, and they could only stand, and like he tortured
He wouldn't let him talk.
Yeah,
either.
and he tortured Tippi Hendricks, like he destroyed her career, and then like Kubrick, like Shelley Duvall, like he tortured her, he verbally and emotionally abused her like on set all day long. Like there's like a documentary where you see like him actually go into that. She like didn't come out on set in time,
right?
And he like went in there and he just like cussed her
The
out.
thing about Kubrick is he was like bummed when he had to let Jack Nicholson do the scene where his face smashes through, because that's just him. That he wrote that scene for himself.
Yeah, he just like wanted to do that himself.
That's how I picture Stanley Kubrick in real life.
So it's really common in back in that time to do that. So, like, a lot of people got hurt on set for funsies. And then they use so much blood in gallons and gallons of blood that the crew was making it out of Caro syrup, which is like common amongst like local special effects artists. Like, it's a little thing. Caro syrup is basically sugar. I mean, it's corn syrup. High fructose.
So it gives it that
corn
thick,
syrup.
matted feel.
Oh, so
and
the
it
stuff
would
we shouldn't
take,
be drinking.
It would take hours and hours for Bruce Campbell to get that stuff off of him. Like, I mean, have you ever, I have it, actually, I had a bottle of it that I made, and it exploded in my kit.
Oh, wow.
And it dripped out of my kit onto my leather seats in the back of my really crappy car. And I can't get it out of my car. Like, it's like so, like, thick and it's just dried sugar, and it's like stuck in the crevices of my car.
Hey, at least
so can you imagine like getting that in your hair and getting it
just think of that.
on your body and like just not being able to just
the apocalypse ever hits, I call chewing on the leather in your car.
Okay, you've got it. You've got dibs.
Some car jerky, if you will.
And then I have I guess
no, you can't have any of my car jerky.
The most notable scene
you can come on hands and knees, which I know you will, but you can't have none of it. Okay, it's my car jerky. I called it.
You get my car jerky.
Calling car jerky is more sacred than calling shotgun.
You know what
this rule exists as of now.
Well, you know what you do when someone calls shotgun? You sit down anyways and yell, Rosa Parks.
Oh, no.
And then you rip them out and kick them off. Is that how that one ends?
Well, it depends.
Okay, you're calling Rosa Parks. I'm gonna treat you like Rosa Parks.
Okay, we're not going there.
Yeah, no, that's not good. That was insensitive.
That's terrible.
That's just one of those things, though, that
I didn't partake in
if you really hate the person, though, then you pull that one. If you're like, want to throw it back in their face.
Okay, we can
yeah.
Oh, God.
But if you're trying to be a sensible human being, never ever do that.
It's like, this is what you get for trying to be clever.
So, like, every scene in Evil Dead is pretty much the best scene ever, too.
Wasn't it with the new one where the girl actually got vomited in her face and stuff?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
See,
I know things.
You're jumping 8, 9, like, you're taking it too far.
I'm sorry. I get excited about vomit and be able to.
So, but every scene in that's good. And then like the director of another
if you guys
one
are
was
lucky, I'll throw up some of my car jerky for you.
Fede Alvarez or something like that.
Like
and he's a Uruguayan director who directed the new Evil Dead. And he made a lot. And this is his first feature film.
They were stuck to the roots.
It's his first major film. He did. He did a lot of like Uruguayan horror shorts before this, and then now he's like on to do Dante's Inferno, which will have some great makeup in it. The video game, the rendition of the video game Dante's Inferno.
Wait, what do you mean?
A live action version, and
that's what the script is.
I'm a little bit of an old school guy, but I would like to see the action. Never mind, we're gonna just keep going.
Anyways,
I don't think they actually did any backflips with broadswords and chopped heads off in the original story. So
yeah, this will be interesting. It will be interesting. Evil Dead 2, which is to be announced, possibly Army of Darkness 2. And then I just on my notes, I just said pretty much every scene in that movie. Wait, and the girl was forced to real vomit into her friend's face, and then she ran away crying. Yeah. So as you can see, it's still traumatizing for actors on
I don't
set.
consider that woman weak-willed at all, or weak-spirited at all.
It would have been funny if the other one's like, it's fine, where are you going?
The fact that she was able to run away means she wasn't in the fetal position, which means she's doing better than I would have done in that same situation.
And then I, of course, have the thing...
Wait, one last thing I will say, though, about Sam Raimi, because I actually didn't know that he directed Evil Dead, at least not for most of my life. I just knew him from Spider-Man, because I'm a big Spider-Man fan.
Oh, no.
But it's just funny because some of the horror elements sort of creep their way into Spider-Man. Obviously, they're tacky, but there's a couple jump scares he goes for in Spider-Man that I always thought were weird, but knowing his history now, I'm like, okay, he couldn't resist.
King of Horror, yeah. So of course I have The Thing, John Carpenter's 1982 rendition of The Thing.
Wait, John Carpenter. What else? Where do I know that name?
John
elsewhere?
Carpenter. He's done.
He didn't do Halloween. No, the original Halloween. No.
Blue.
Who did the original Halloween?
I'm trying to think. Although we do have Google.
Yeah, why do we let these questions persist? Okay, talk about The Thing while I Google
So The Thing, awesome movie.
Pardon my typing.
Stan Winston was the special effects artist for that. And I'm getting distracted.
Yeah, I know.
By
Real quick. By John Carpenter?
Yeah,
Who knows stuff about stuff?
John
Nice
Carpenter was known for a lot of horror films. And
I know one random fact. That makes me the expert. Anyway, sorry. So let's go back to The Thing.
And
so John
it was entirely practical effects, and it was all animatronics. And my favorite scene in that is when the head turns into this like weird head spider, and it's like crawling around, and it's all. You can't see my face right now, but I am making an awful face. And that's I actually think I showed worse just recently. But it looked like.
I never criticized you because I know you're just getting inspired.
It looked like Hatchet Face from Friday. In this one photo, I did yeah, Hatchet Face. That's what I look like. It's sad I can make a face like that.
So the head crawling around.
Yeah, you haven't seen The Thing? You gotta watch it though. It's good.
I can't cross.
I'll watch it on.
Mechanics of dismemberment, bleeding out.
Yeah, that's talking about that. That's the hardest part on the hardest job in a special effects field is that you have to make sure that you're as anatomically correct as possible because you have doctors in the audience and cops and people that see things EMT.
Give up on us.
Yeah.
She's like talking about. I'm lucky enough to have not witnessed yet a patient have an artery issue in person. I've seen enough stories. When you like
You haven't seen it on the streets, man.
so like you know when you like have a faucet and you press up and it goes. Yeah, it's bad. It's terrible.
That's happens when you tourniquet an artery.
Yeah, so the tourniquet is because you are going to die in a few minutes. So we will risk killing off all the tissue. I'm twisting the tourniquet while I'm there. You can't
That's
see
just
that.
really obnoxious cadence.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Listen, so what you're risking you are risking losing the tissue below the tourniquet.
You will have no blood.
Yeah.
It's rough.
That must be like vampires.
How do you do the whole no limb thingy?
Green screen?
Secret.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean secret?
No. Hey,
Secret.
she can't. That's
Can't
Okay,
give
how
away
do you
everything.
do?
that's trade secret.
So then let's get a little perspective then. So how do you think they did the crawling head back in those days?
Oh, well, they
Well, that
made
one
an
they don't.
animatronic puppet.
But I mean, they had to like.
So they built.
So does his head turn into the crab though?
Yeah, no, it's like. Oh, I can't remember the scene all the way now. Now I gotta I'd have to look it up. But
Right.
I
Fair
think
enough.
they did
You
it
haven't seen it in a while.
cutscene, and then now it's this animatronic puppet of this
Right.
head, and I obviously made that with
Probably
silicone.
shot by shot. Of,
Yeah.
That's the only thing I was wondering is did they have to make several different models
I
of the
think-
transformation of this head?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
That would just be ridiculous.
And then the last on my list is actually probably have to put this above The Thing just for hilarity purposes. So it's such a funny movie. If you guys want to see a naked zombie, hot naked zombie
I've
woman,
been wanting to see.
watch this movie because it's hilarious. It's called The Return of the Living Dead in 1985. Dan O'Bannon was the director. It was originally George A. Romero and someone else that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But then George A. Romero left in the middle of production of this and went on to do the Dawn of the Dead series. So his other partner kind of found these other people, and Dan O'Bannon became the director, and he was actually the writer of it also. He rewrote the entire thing. And it's hilarious. Tony Gardner...
so?
I really don't think... I think some of it was, and then I think some of it wasn't. But it's a classic. It's a great movie, no matter what, intentional or not. Tony Gardner, he created the half-body zombie in it. It's an animatronic puppet, and it launched his career. And he worked with, he was most well known to work with Jim Henson and his puppets. And there's just so many hilarious Jim Henson Muppets.
Oh,
the Muppets.
The Muppets. Okay.
Yeah, like Fraggle Rock, Dark Crystal. It's huge.
Back when kids respected puppets.
Yeah.
I believe
he
had something to do with Yoda as well.
Probably.
I've
He
actually
massive
done
puppeteer company.
A shocking amount
He's
of
hit
puppetry.
bananas in pajamas and like a couple other things. I think maybe not bananas in pajamas, but something. I just
United
saw.
up puppet.
Whatever. Puppet.
I've actually done a shocking amount of puppetry, but most of it was before
I've seen
when
your
I was
puppet.
like 12.
There was a puppet in the backseat of your car
Hello,
once that I
puppet.
was like playing with once.
But that's
really
honestly,
creepy.
that's one of the things that got me curious about movies is just like knowing how hard it is to put on a puppet show for kids. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's
so that like launched his career, and there's so many funny things in it, and there's lots of nudity, so it's great. It's
I don't know how I feel about that as a statement.
It's funny.
Oh, there's nudity. It's great.
But it's not like nudity in a provocative sense. It's just like unnecessary or really stupid.
Okay.
And so it makes it even better. It's just a classic like 1985 like zombie movie. So good.
Nakedness and blood and guts makes for a really dirty set of jokes.
It's just please everybody watch it. So
We won't touch Rosa
we're
Parks,
gonna
but we'll go to nudity and mixed with blood and guts.
We're gonna link
You draw the line at Rosa
you
Parks,
to
and
a
you'll
video.
cross it for nudity and blood and guts.
We're gonna link you to the video of this also because it's so funny. But there is this half dog puppet in this.
Oh no.
In this,
Which half?
It's a half of a dog. Like it's a dog split in half. Like this. What is this way?
Hamburger style.
Hamburger
style.
No, hot dog. Hot dog.
Long ways.
Long ways.
Okay.
So it's like split long ways.
Okay.
And it's, oh my god. It is so ridiculous. It is not accurate in any way, shape, or form. It's like the size of an iPhone. This dog is the size of an iPhone, which doesn't make any sense why there's no dog that is the type of dog that they built that was an animatronic puppet for this. Size of an iPhone. It is attached to a plank of wood still, and like
So
it
did
falls
they just
off
shoot it
of
up
this
close,
counter.
so it looked
No,
like a
they
proportional
didn't
dog?
even like. It's like this person just like picks it up, and it's very clearly like a toy dog, and it's like barking. So it's all arr, arr, arr,
So
and
they
it's
just
like
ran
this
out of
like
the budget
half
for that?
of a dog. Like it's so bad. It's hilarious, and it's the one part of this movie I'll never forget.
Is it like
Next to the half of the zombie puppet, like the half-body zombie puppet that like shouts profanities and like says inappropriate things. It's so funny and like
It sounds like the designers were like, you know what would be funny and save us a lot of money and time? We'll make half stuff.
it's just
We'll make half stuff.
But it's a zombie movie. Stuff
I
falls
kid you
off.
not, that
you know?
half dog puppet thing cracks me up like every time I think about it. When I was Googling it to like make this like list, I was laughing. That's what I was laughing at in the room while like you guys were all talking about stuff. I was sitting in the corner laughing by
Yeah, you're really
myself.
a little funny guy over here.
Wait, speaking of half zombies, have you guys seen that? There's a Walking Dead fan who is he has a birth deformity, so he's got one arm, no legs, and no other arm. And what he does is he gets dressed up as a zombie, and he goes after after people, and it is hilarious
That
to watch
is
these
really
poor
funny.
Walmart shoppers.
Oh my god, I
And
want to see that.
And he even got Daryl Dixon. And I'm not gonna lie, Norman Reedus played it pretty straight. He went, "Whoa, well that's hilarious!" Like he has a split second of and he goes, "Oh, that is so cool."
Then he remembered that he's sterile. And
Right? It's like,
They didn't remember zombies aren't real yet.
Do you think there's any actors that like kind of like Tom Cruise? I picture that guy forgetting he's not actually a special operative with like all these skills.
Like I was talking to someone.
Jokes are too easy. I'm not touching those.
And they made a plausible
like,
reason.
I wonder how many actors like quantifiably like actually forget that they're not their character.
Get to the chopper! Ah!
No, I think Arnold has a pretty good grasp.
I was
Trying to think
someone
of like more arrogant people. That's why I think of Tom Cruise. Like, you know that guy, if they're like, we need to defuse this bomb, like, there would be an actual SWAT team ready, and he'd, like, push them aside.
You heard about his comments about how movie making is as hard as doing, like, a tour in Iraq. Those words came out of his mouth.
You guys have to...
Well, we better draw the line there.
Hey, man, be careful what you say about Tom Cruise.
I know, TC could beam down and
he's got power.
us.
He's got power.
He could smash us.
He could, yes.
Actually, no.
Smash.
The group of people that has power is the Church of Scientology, because if you talk smack about them, if you talk smack about the church, they'll actually prosecute you.
Right.
So you gotta be careful.
Be careful.
We just got serious really quick here. I had to break down the law on you
TC
guys talking
gets us
about the Tom
fired
Cruise.
up, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be really careful because he'll.
Thomas Cruise. Thomas Edward Cruise. What do you think his middle name is?
Thomas Cruise.
I'm too scared. I don't want to get sued.
No, we gotta find out. We gotta address this man properly if we don't want to be sued. I try Thomas Cruise. Let's try Tom Cruise and see what comes up. Whoa.
Oh my god, his last name is Mapother?
Don't
the
make
fourth.
fun of him.
Mapother. I don't even know. I can't even recognize that name.
No wonder he just goes by Thomas Cruise.
Not even that. Thomas Cruise Mapother the fourth.
Anyways, we're straying a little bit. I apologize, Tom Cruise, Thomas the Mapother the fourth. Do not smote us on the mountainside. I know I said that past tense because it's already going to happen. Let's face it. We're done. Stick a fork in us because we're done.
I didn't partake in any of this.
Yeah.
I just laughed.
You did. I don't know how. It's like the butterfly effect. You brought in here, you started talking about Sam Raimi, and that just led to this.
And hey, I can't get sued for libel because I just said what he said. For real.
Sometimes, you just gotta muddle with people's reputations, mercilessly because you're ashamed of your own.
I think Tom Cruise has more important things to worry about than our opinions.
Yeah, he's got to worry about saving us from like space aliens and stuff and diffusing bombs. But Autumn, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast this week.
Gracias.
I really enjoyed your insight into just almost, I don't want to say an unknown world because obviously there are a lot of aficionados who...
Well, it's a very
There's a lot of more overqualified people that could be talking about this stuff.
Yeah, but you see, you're like, not
but
that
I'm
we
here.
know. You actually go out and be a part of the culture. Me and Mike just sit in this room and spitball on this podcast. So yeah, for the people we know in our network, you are the most certified. And I really think it's awesome to learn about these things, to fully appreciate it, because we just sort of go to movies and we're like, that movie sucked, but we don't even appreciate how much work
everyone,
went into
like,
this
no
movie.
matter how crappy the movie is, you have to appreciate how much work goes into it.
Right.
How much work goes into it. Every single person
was...
on a movie shoot is working so hard. They've not slept for 3 days sometimes, and, it's like hours and hours and hours of just incredibly hard work. So you have to have some form of slight appreciation, at least that...
There's a reason the movie business is tough to get into, and there's a reason the fan that was saying the movie sucked isn't in it.
Yes, exactly.
So...
Well, hey, thank you very much.
Thank you, Autumn.
Oh,
any
of
parting
course.
last words?
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Those are words for you guys to live by until you hear from Autumn again in a few weeks, I'm sure, inevitably, because she's the best.
Aww.
And we will talk to you guys then.
Like, comment, follow, subscribe.
Like, comment, follow, subscribe. Links to ensue in the description.
Yes.
Love you guys. Take it easy.